Hello and welcome back to another Poppy Builds video. Yay! In honor of the Bunk beds release, I am going to be building a tiny home for 8 Sims with the idea that they are 8 Sims that attend university. So I wanted to do a very tiny home. This is not a micro home, this is the second level. It's 64 tiles max instead of the 32. So I don't know what that's technically called, but it's not a micro home. It's a mini home or tiny. Anyway, it's 64 tiles, that is the size of it, and it's going to house 8 Sims. It's going to have 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and 1 nice little main common area for the kitchen and living room. I wanted it to be just 2 bedrooms, with the idea that the Sims renting it are really ballin' on a budget. They asked their landlord how many Sims they could have live in this house, and she said, as many as you like, as long as you pay X amount of rent. So they said, well, we are going to put as many people as we can in here so we can all pay the least amount of money possible. So they crammed 4 Sims in each of the 2 bedrooms. So that is my little concept behind this build. The landlord is going to be a retired grandma. That's who I'm pretending the landlord is, who's maybe not in the area for the semester or renting out her space. This is her second home, is where we're going. She doesn't need it, she's renting it out. Maybe she's moved to the countryside for some peace and tranquility instead of where she used to live, which is this very busy and bustling university area. And so the vibe is a little bit cottagey on the outside to indicate like a little bit of an older home, a little bit more of a traditional build that you used to see back in like the 1980s and stuff like that, 1960s. The outside of this house is literally how my house was built in America that I grew in growing up. So that's like, you see these houses everywhere. Nowadays they've knocked down all of these homes and they now build much larger and much more modern homes. So that is not what this is, and instead is like the more suburban traditional home that sometimes are still built but not as often today. So it's quite old. She's like, oh, I don't need it anymore. I'm gonna rent it out to make a little bit of extra cash. So the wallpaper and the flooring is all going to be, again, like a bit more of a 1960s vibe, but with modern and updated furniture that the Sims brought. So it did take me a while to figure out what wallpaper I wanted, because I did want to hit that vibe, but I didn't want it to be too like run down. I wanted it to be like a well-kept but with grandma vibes home / built in the 1960s to 80s. Also, I could be completely inaccurate on when this like era of type of homes were built. Do not take my word for that. It is just what I think based on knowledge of when my house was built and the ones in my surrounding area, but that could have just been a subset of the US. So here we are. This is going to be the first bedroom for 4 of the Sims. This specific bedroom is going to have a very minimalistic and white design to it. I wanted the 4 Sims that live in here to be, so how they broke up the rooms was the 4 people with the same aesthetic live in one room and the 4 people with the other aesthetic live in the other room. So their room, they decided they wanted it to be very white, minimalistic, simple. I also wanted to make sure that they had as much skill building items as possible. So in this specific room, I decided that adding 2 computers would be a great idea for 2 of them to have designated space to do their work. And then of course I had to add some planters because they look so cute, the hanging ones. From Nifty Knitting. Again, my fave. I love to add them to most builds. And And if this is going to be a uni home, I assume that maybe one sim in here is a little bit crafty, or these are just so in trend right now, these hanging planters. I hope they never go out of trend because they are adorable and I love them and they're so cute, so they had to be added. And then on this specific wall, I thought that so this is why I wanted to say, like, I have no idea if Sims can actually sleep on a bunk bed if there are bookcases above it. I did not play test this, so if your sim can't get to the top one, it is the bookcases. And that is that information. But in real life, they could absolutely sleep in there, so that's why I decided to add them, because it added a lot more storage space for the Sims to share and where they could keep their books. And then I used the top of the wardrobe to put the lamps for the top bunk beds, and then little side lamps for the bottom bunk beds, which I think is very nice. You can buy like those types of lamps anywhere and you just stick them on a wall. They are very, very cool. So we're definitely going with the vibe that the lady who rented out this place took all of her furniture. So it's kind of like an empty concept minus the bathrooms. And so here I had a little bit of extra space, so I added a guitar to the end. And that is it for the very minimalistic and, well, they're all kind of minimalistic rooms because I tried to put as many people in here as possible, but this is it for the other tiny room. So this specific 4-bedroom room is going to be in a collection of colors. They're gonna be Sims that don't really have any like matching style. They all agree, just, you know what, whatever you like, we'll just put it in. All of the 4 Sims each share a wardrobe, so hopefully none of the Sims bring a lot of clothes. And it would be hilarious. I think it would be so cool. So I did make 8 Sims for this build. You can again find them on the gallery underneath poppybuilds, but I think I made like one of them a little bit evil or 2 of them a little bit evil. I can't remember, or like hot-headed. So hopefully some fighting will ensue if you'd like to download those 8 Sims and play them as such, which is hilarious. Or you can change their personalities and make them all best friends, or make them all super villainous enemies. It is really, really up to you. The only concept I had in here was who the landlord was and the origins of the house. For this little corner space, I didn't want it to be wasted, so I put in a little chair. Again, I have no idea if a Sim can actually sit in that chair, but I would think so. It doesn't, like, there's no tiles blocking it, but maybe the ladder, I don't know. Again, did not play test. I just designed. And here I kept their little bookcase for a few of their tidbits. And they also have a mirror, which I think is great. And obviously in The Sims, they're not going to be able to reach the bookcase. But, not the bookcase, sorry, the closet. But I personally never use the closets to change my Sim's clothes. I just click on the Sim. So I thought that was totally fine there. And then I added some speakers on the top of the closet. So I really wanted to have, some nice skill building items in here. And so that is what I gave them. And I thought it would be so nice to add string lights. Did not work with the windows and curtains, so they were not added. I was initially also going to do only 1 bathroom, but with 8 Sims I decided, you know what, we're not going to have a big bathroom with a bathtub, which I think is much more like 1960s builds. So maybe the grandma renovated a closet to fit another bathroom. That is what we can pretend. And I like that. So maybe the one in the middle used to be a closet, which she changed into a bathroom. And I put in the wooden toilet seat, so that is very cabiny, grandmotherly vibes. If you decide to watch this video, which I hope you are enjoying it so far, let me know what you think of the build. and my imagination, because I'm having so much fun just thinking about it right now. It's really great what you can think of. And also, I wanted to have 8 towels. It was too many towels, they didn't fit unless a sim was like 7'2". Could they not reach the top one? And you can't adjust the height in sims, so you can't actually really have a tall towel rack. So instead I added 3 little robes to act as their towels in each, and then 2 robes went in the bedrooms. So for the kitchen, this blue, gorgeous, love it. And then a bit more modern appliances. So those were renovated too when she decided to lease out her house. The frustrating thing about this tiny home though was that I could not fit in a dining room for 8 sims. So as you're gonna see, only 4 can actually sit. So that is that. So some can sit around the living room instead, but only 4 can actually sit on the dining room table. And I'm also, again, not sure if the chair near the wall actually works. Yikes. So all in all, this is just a very simple, nice space. That little side table, absolutely gorgeous. And then I decided to add a few ottomans to give ample seating for all of the sims. So they definitely do have a place to sit. It's just not all of the same place. I initially wanted to add something here, but I decided to play it safe and instead add only a little bit of a bin, just to make sure that you could actually go through the walking space. So pretty much a nice and simple interior. That is going to be it. I'm now going to do a little bit of landscaping on the outside, and then also messing with the backyard. The backyard is definitely like a good selling point of this place, because even though the house is a little bit cramped, the backyard is so massive that they can definitely hang out there, chill, or host. And I will eventually add a pool, so that's definitely a selling point too. So like give and take for what they decided they wanted in their tiny home. So they're balling on a budget but with a lot of luxuries, because they're gonna have a pool. So if 2 sims decided to live in this space, they would pay a lot of rent, but 8 sims, a little bit of a cheaper rent with a pool too. So very exciting. And it could be maybe part of the agreement, like the landlady hires a pool cleaning service so they don't have to deal with it. That's what we are going to pretend. And then for the landscaping and stuff, I wanted it to just be very, you know, I wanted to say common, but common's not the word. Like, what is it? Like reminiscent of this time period. Slash, none of the gardening has been modernized or anything like that. It's just nice little bit of landscaping. And maybe we can pretend like as the lady got older, she stopped taking care of it so much, so now she hired another person. She got a pool guy, she's got a landscaper guy she deals with all of it. And that is that. Again, whatever your imagination wants. Absolutely crazy. But I didn't want to go too crazy with the landscaping around the side of the fence, because I wanted it to be like she finally used to take care of it herself, got a bit tired as she got a bit older, and only took care of certain spots and let the other spots go away in a nice way. Like she kept it still fashionable. So they do have a table for all of them to sit outside. So if they're friends, they have a place to sit. If they're enemies, please let me know if you download this build and make the Sims like villains and enemies. That would be so fun. I never play with malicious Sims, even though it is so fun. I normally just, this is why I don't do Let's Plays, because the way I play is just get to the end of the career as fast as possible. Yes, whereas you can do so much, especially with the new trait adaptations, which I hope everything just continues to evolve. But for me, I'm very boring. I think my building is a lot better than my Let's Plays. This house is so 1960s. I absolutely love it. So here we go. Welcome to this build. Let's take a little tour. So look at this gorgeous landscaping on the outside. Beautiful, beautiful. Then in we go. This is the living room and kitchen space with loads of sitting for all and beautiful blue counters. Or cabinets, they're not counters. Nice and simple, not too much clutter, otherwise the Sims will not be able to walk through the space. And then here is our first 4-bed bedroom. That's a bit of a tongue twister, with a more of an eclectic style and some of our little robes. So if you want, you can definitely just have one bathroom to expand one of the rooms, but I think having 2 bathrooms was a bit of a better idea for 8 Sims. So there you go, that's the 2 bathrooms. And then this is the more minimalistic white based room for 4-bedroom. That is the interior of our little tiny home, not micro home. Not ready for that challenge yet, guys, not ready. And then out here is our beautiful pool and outdoor dining room space. And then around the corner are the rubbish bins. And this is a gorgeous tiny home for 8 uni students with a grandmotherly landlord. And those are the 8 Sims right there. They're very chic in what they wear. Thank you so much for watching this build. I hope you like what you saw, and don't forget to subscribe. And I will see you all soon. Bye!